So then I move out to LA, and I'm living in Los Angeles, and I'm taking these leadership classes. And then our group had gone and visited a numerologist and past life person in Del
I was not
Del
ready for
Mar.
this story, but
Right.
now I'm fascinated.
Now we're here.
Yeah. I'm so excited today to have my friend Nathali Weisman to join us to talk about all the things that she's involved with at Texas State. But Nathali, first off, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, you're
what an honor.
And thank you for going all gold today. I love the look. And
you know, when I saw the gold suit, I was like, I'm getting this. This is my Texas State suit.
You know, if you're listening on audio, you're missing something here. I know some people watch this on video, but it's awesome. And Beth is the same way. She'll be walking down the street and look in a window and see something maroon or gold, and she says, I got to go have that.
I have to have it because it doesn't come up often.
That's right.
Yeah. And I thought, this is perfect.
Well, and I do like the off color, like it's our secondary color is gold, but there's so much maroon out there in Texas anyways. When you wear the gold, people go, oh, that must be Texas State. So yeah, very good. And you actually have your bowl championship medallion on.
I wear it proudly. Yeah. I'm so proud of our Bobcats.
Yeah. Well, it's so fun because we gave donors a bowl ring that have really helped the team get, people who believed in the football team before they deserved being believed in. And we had a little ceremony, but the women we give a medallion to instead because the rings are kind of audacious and heavy, and even the guys don't wear them; they're too big. But Beth got in a medallion too, and she loves it. She wears it more than I wear my ring. So
likewise with Johnny, I wear this as much as I can, and I absolutely love it.
And he has his in a box somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
but he wears it to the games, and he wears it to the Texas State stuff very proudly. But I was not expecting to get anything. As a wife. Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm a supporter and I'm a lover of the Bobcats, but when you presented us with this medallion pendant, I was like, oh my God, this is so special.
Well, it is a cool opportunity to get a piece of history because that was our first bowl game, and then we won the game, which is also exciting. Some people get a ring for going to a bowl game, but we prefer to give it if you win the bowl game. And it is, you always see about Super Bowl rings and World Series rings, but it's really kind of special to have a piece of history that you can wear around and kind of remind people, hey, what is that? Oh, that's from when we won the bowl game. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the first bowl game.
The first bowl game.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Which is so wonderful.
Well, you and Johnny have been such great friends of the university and especially the athletics program, but your history predates that. I mean, you were a former student and a student athlete here. Let's go back to the very beginning of little Nathali. First off, your name is spelled with a TH, which is kind of unusual. Let's go all the way back to that. Like,
that
what were your mom?
story?
Yeah. I want to hear that story about the spelling of Nathali.
Well, I changed that
in
my 20s. I changed it.
I did not know that. That's news.
Yeah.
Breaking news here.
That is breaking news. Yeah. Sometimes people ask about that, and sometimes they don't. It's pronounced Natalie.
Yeah.
So I didn't think much of it. And, I'm a little bit out of the box.
No.
I know.
Yeah.
I grew up here. I grew up in Round Rock. I went to Montessori school. I'm a crunchy Austin hippie, in being influenced by that group. Totally into health and well-being and all that kind of stuff and spiritual God and all that. So so just laying the foundation for this story. So then I move out to LA, and I'm living in Los Angeles, and I'm taking these leadership classes. And then our group had gone and visited a numerologist and past life person in Del Mar.
I was not ready for this story, but now I'm fascinated.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
So we're in Del Mar. She's in Del Mar, California. This is pre-Google, by the way. So this is not like you could Google somebody and all this stuff. So she does this with very famous people, and they had gone, and they were like, Nathali, you have to do this. It's so amazing. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, she wasn't expensive. And so I show up. I book my appointment. It's way in advance. And she says, she does the past life readings, which is super fascinating, to whatever degree you want to believe it. But it seemed to hit home for some of the things that she had said, which she would never have known these things about me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so she had set the hook for the next comment.
Yeah.
And so we're at the end. I said, is there anything else? She's like, well, I ran the numbers on your name and there's a lot going on. And I was like, what do you mean? And she said, well, Nathali by itself has a lot of obstacles and Parker by itself has a lot of obstacles. Then you combine them and you have compounded obstacles.
Wow.
And okay. Well, I really like my name.
Yeah.
She's like, you could change your name. And I'm like, I'm not changing my name. Nathali Parker is a good name. It's a strong name.
Yeah.
But I'm open to mitigating obstacles. So I said, I'm open to mitigating obstacles. What are the options? And she said, we could respell your first name.
And did you sit down right then and do it, or?
No, she said, why don't you think of some variations and send them to me and I'll think of variations and I'll run the numbers and we'll see. And she came up with this and I actually really, really liked it. And so
It's probably, you're the only person in the world with that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then people go, well, have the obstacles been mitigated? I'm like, I don't know.
But think how bad things could have been if you hadn't done it.
Maybe.
Right? You never know.
Yeah, you don't know.
That's so funny. Lyndon Baines Johnson's daughter, Lucy, changed her name. And it's fascinating. And someday I'll get her to tell me that story on the podcast. But her name was Lucy, and she changed it to Luci. And there's a really interesting reason behind that. But I've thought about maybe I should. Now you got me thinking I should add an H to my name or something like that. Khely or something like that. The H is silent. So.
Well, the H is silent.
Yeah, that's funny. But let's go back now.
Okay.
Growing up in this area, Round Rock High School.
Round Rock High School, proud dragon.
Yeah, there you go. And then
more maroon.
Yeah. Oh, another maroon school. Yeah. So then how do you end up coming to Texas State?
Well, I had applied to other universities, and also I was I played 4 sports in high school.
Yeah.
And
what were they? Basketball?
Volleyball, basketball, soccer, and track. And I had left after my sophomore year track and field and got into soccer. I was going to try to do it both in my junior year, and
It's a lot of running.
It's a lot of running.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a lot of running, especially after basketball, a lot of running.
Yeah.
And I came from an athletic family. My father was a football coach at University of Texas. He got into commercial real estate in the 80s. We went broke, and it was at the time where it was like, you really need scholarships. Mm-hmm. So because I had to start working to pay for things and stuff like that. And so I said, my goal was, and always, of course, it's a dream when you're an athlete to be like a college athlete, right? And to get scholarships and stuff. So I had gotten offers from smaller schools, but I wanted to go to a bigger school, and I thought, I can walk on. And I had gotten accepted into Texas Tech, where my brother was. And he had walked on and played football. And my brother he's 1 year older than me. Mm-hmm. And so I said, Mike, I think I'm going to go to Tech. And he's like, if you come here, I'm leaving.
I love you.
True story. Yeah. I love you, but I don't want to deal with my little sister here. And I dealt with that in high school.
That's funny.
I don't want to have to.
Were you a superstar in high school? Like everyone knew who Nathali was?
Yeah. I was voted most
popular.
I was friendliest. I think most
That's
athletic,
shocking.
And I sat on presidents' councils, and I was very involved.
Yeah.
I'm always involved.
Yeah,
I always have something to say.
So basically, the same thing you are now. So
nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
So then you couldn't go to Tech.
Yeah, and so I said, I'm going to go to Texas State, and I'm going to walk on the volleyball team, and see if I make it. So I tried out, and I made the team.
Who's your coach then?
The great Karen Chisholm.
Yeah, Hall of Fame
Hall
kind
of
of person.
Fame.
Yeah,
Yep.
excellent.
So I made the team, but really what I should have done in high school is be a setter.
Yeah.
Because I'm too short to be
an
at the net,
hitter,
and I'm too tall to be in the back.
Yeah.
Right? So I made the team, but I'm not going to be something great. And then I tried out for the team at the end of my freshman year to go into my sophomore year. I made the team. They offered me a position, but I said no. And I'm not going to get scholarships. So
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to just be a student. And then I thought, I'm going to go because, like I said before, I'm into wellness and well-being.
Yeah.
And
you're already running anyways, right?
yeah, I'm running.
You're getting up in the morning,
I want to get
out.
healthy and all that kind of stuff. So I got accepted into Parker College of Chiropractic in Dallas.
Wow.
And I was going to leave my sophomore year, at the end of my sophomore year, and go to there. And then at the middle of my sophomore year, I was taking a PE class, and the PE professor was the track coach.
And here we go.
And he said, I need a multi-event person, and you like can run and jump, and like you're coordinated, and I need somebody. Will you come out and try out for the team? I said, sure. Okay. I need somebody kind of yelling at me to work out anyway, which I didn't think that was the case, but I realized that was the case. And I thought, this does not happen to everybody and all the time. So this is my shot. So so I made the team, and I had 6 weeks until the conference meet, but we had 2 days before my first heptathlon meet.
Wow.
So I was recruited to run or participate in the heptathlon, which is 7 events. Yeah. So I got a 30-minute instruction for each event.
And it's not just running, right?
No, it's the 100-meter hurdles, the high jump, long jump, shot put, 200 meters, 800 meters, and javelin.
Yeah. And, you know, they don't do javelin in high school,
no,
right? Because it's too dangerous.
Even seen a javelin in person. I never touched a javelin. I saw it on a movie.
That's funny.
Yeah. So javelin is on the first day of the heptathlon events. And I go in, I have a half approach, and I outthrow everybody by a lot.
Wow.
And my coach is like, wow, what? Wait, where did this come from? Because all I did was, I had never thrown it openly. He just showed me warm-ups.
Yeah.
And kind of some technique and a half approach.
Yeah. Not
expecting much. And he's like, where did this come from?
Natural athlete.
Well, I love humor.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm channeling my ancestors because I'm Native American. Uh-huh. And so he said, we're putting you in the open division of the javelin with real throwers, like people that actually practice this and know what they're doing. Yeah. And so I said, okay, great. So then I got second place.
First meet ever.
Wow. So then I got offered a scholarship by the end of that. And I said, yeah, I'll stay.
You know, I think that's a story there is that you never know how your life's going to turn out.
No.
And something like taking a class, like you decided to take a class, that instructor happens to be a track coach who says, I need someone to do this thing. And then you throw a javelin and go, oh, you're pretty good. And next thing you know, you're a scholarship student and you're staying.
I know.
And then you get off. And so what degree did you earn?
Exercise sports science, a Bachelor of Science.
And you're still doing that for a living now.
No,
you're not doing that for a living. So let's fast forward now. You own a construction company or a construction supply company. So tell us how you end up getting there.
Oh my God. Yeah. You don't have time on this
No,
podcast,
we don't have time for
it. I will give you the
mini
cliff
version.
Notes.
Yeah.
I don't have a degree in construction. I didn't even think about construction. I actually moved back to Austin after I graduate, not really knowing what I'm going to do. I get a job at Dell. I'm not happy there. I kind of was like, what does the world have to offer? Yeah. And I contacted this woman that I knew, and I met at this health spa resort in Bastrop that did I learned how to do wheatgrass juicing, and I used to grow wheatgrass in my college house here, my senior year. And
I'm learning a lot of things about you, Natalie, that I didn't know about.
So anyway, I meet this woman from New York City, and she is the president of an Italian investment bank in New York on 52nd and 5th Avenue. And I contact her to just go see New York and if I can stay at her apartment. Yeah. And she's like, I have a job for you that I need somebody to manage, and I really don't have the budget to hire somebody who knows what they're doing, but I think you can do it. I mean,
You're so underqualified, I can afford to hire you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know you can figure it out. Right.
I think, I spent 2 weeks with you in this, juicing cleanse. I think you can figure it out. And I said, okay, I'll do that.
And that's the beginning.
And it was for a construction manager to run and do the build out of their headquarters in the United States on 52nd and 5th Avenue.
Unbelievable.
I never even visited New York. I'm from small town.
Little girl from Round Rock.
Round Rock was 10,000 people. It
Yeah.
had one stoplight when we moved in.
And now you're on 56th Street.
I'm on
New York City.
52nd and 5th Avenue.
Wow. And
So
was
fast
that-
forward,
Yeah.
I moved to LA, and I'm in media, and I work for Turner Broadcasting and ad sales and all this stuff. And, you know,
Change
on
your
and
name
on.
spelling.
I changed my name spelling, and I was going to change the world with writing, you know, reality shows and all this other stuff. And I had started actually a multimedia company called the X's and O's with Nathali Parker to bring sports and families. I was going to bring men and women and families back together through sports.
Oh.
And then in 2008, 2009, that crashed and burned because of the economy. Everything did.
Yeah.
So I lost everything. I was totally broke, $50,000 in debt. And I said, I'm done with Hollywood. I'm done with all of this. I've just got to get my life I need a job.
Yeah.
And I got a job through friends to be the business development person for an Italian crane company out of Italy and do grassroots business development. And I started doing that. I have no experience doing it. And I wound up doing what they tried to do in 20 years. I did in 2 years, working very, very hard, flying all over the country. And I got exposed to the construction industry. And at the same time, Karen, my sister and business partner, was here doing real estate, and the market was crashing. And we were like, let's do something together. We just need to find the right product because I know we can do this.
Yeah.
I know
You
we
found
can
a
do
niche,
this.
a niche that you probably didn't know existed
No,
5 years earlier.
I had
right?
no
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
But it was great because it wasn't like talking to people about unicorns and fairies. It was like, this is the product.
Yeah.
This is how much it costs. This is what we can do. And I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to answer my phone, and I'm going to show up.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you're willing to work hard?
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about where you were in 2008.
Yeah. Broke.
Where you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then here you are now, several years later, hugely successful and giving back to your alma mater, helping us build the South End Zone project and the football stadium, which, you know, football wasn't even your sport, and you're still helping with that, and helping with other opportunities that come our way that sometimes we need some help with. It's been such a blessing for me and Beth to get to know you and Johnny on a personal level, but to see you just kind of blossom. I loved hearing your story. I didn't know half the things that we learned today, and so it was fun to get this opportunity to hear more about your story.
Well, you know, we love Texas State.
Yeah.
We believe that we should be at the upper echelon of all the universities,
Absolutely.
not just in Texas, but in the country. And whether you like it or not, football is the reality.
Yeah.
And it gives you a national voice.
Yeah.
And we should have a national voice in that realm because we're in Texas. We're in the heart of Texas. Our campus is stunning and gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
Our football program allows us to attract even greater research programs and people. It allows us to have a camaraderie and alumni network that is vast and strong. I mean, without it, it doesn't have the strength and potency.
Yeah.
And so we need that. I think you are a key element to understand that and to do what you do. We can't thank you enough for your passion, your heart, your vision. Bringing GJ on, like, oh my God, what a powerhouse of a coach. He's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I love football. I grew up in football. You know, I'm an athlete. You know, I know that Texas State is a sleeping giant. It's like the little train that could, the little engine that could, and now we can.
You know, it's funny. We used to have a saying, Texas State, the rising star of Texas, and I say, got to get rid of all those things. We're the risen star. Right?
Yes, we're the risen star.
And I said that at a press conference or a presentation I was making, and the Austin paper actually put that Texas State is risen. And I was
Yay!
Like, it is risen indeed. Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing. So
we're there.
So excited to be a part of it. We love being a part of it. The energy is there. That's another thing that football brings that, you know, there's no other sport that brings it. It brings an energy that permeates through the entire campus that just gets everybody excited. When you hear a drum line, how are you not like,
See the Strutters performing at halftime.
This is it. It's football season.
Yeah.
It's, you know, like, it's just exciting.
It is. Well,
Yeah.
So, Natalie, we have this thing where when we send a link out to the podcast, we have a little box at the bottom. People can click on it. It says, Ask Kelly a question. So we're going to turn you into the interviewer
great.
now.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Dun, dun, dun,
Fire
dun.
away. What do you got?
What's the coolest job on campus?
Oh, coolest job. My job's the coolest job.
Yeah, I
on
would say
campus.
that.
I get to do everything. And I get to see how the sausage gets made a little bit, get behind the scenes things. I get to see nuts to bolts. And, you know, there's a lot of ways. There's 4,000 college presidents in the country. There's 4,000 different ways of doing it. But what I love about the way I get to do is I get to see everything. So I get to go involved in recruiting students from the very beginning, fundraising to help with scholarships, all the way through graduation at the end. Then all the stuff that happens in the middle with the research that's being done by our faculty, engaging with our alumni that come back years and years after they've graduated. So I get to see the whole thing. So this is the coolest job. Now, I will say there's another cool job I wish I had. And we now are the only university in Texas that has a mounted patrol where we have these 2 horses. And with the 2 officers, they get to ride the horses during special events and so on. And if I wasn't president, I'd love to have that job, just riding the horses. Have you seen them?
I love them. And
I know
think
you're an
that
outdoorsy person. I'm sure you'd like that.
I love horses.
Yeah.
You know, I love being part of the land. Like, land is and open spaces and nature just call to me. And I love horses and trees and all that stuff. So, like, I'm totally with you. I'm totally vibing on those two jobs.
And these horses are huge.
Yeah, they're huge.
I mean, yeah, they're giant.
They're
giants.
Just, you know, immense and beautiful.
And when they bring them
creatures.
out, when they bring them out, everyone just gravitates to it. Everyone wants to get a picture. Some people have never been close to a horse before.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool.
And a big horse like that.
It's huge.
But of course, you know, also the uniforms help.
Yeah,
I love their uniforms.
I do too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming today, sharing your story. I know we talked a lot about stuff we weren't planning on talking about. I have all these questions I never even got a chance to ask you.
Well, you can bring me back if you
I'll
want.
bring you back
if the audience wants to hear more.
They probably will want to hear more.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing
Kelly.
that with us. And
Thank
you all for joining us. It's been such a great opportunity for us to learn more about what's going on in Natty's life and why she's so passionate about giving back to her university. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, everyone.